All right. Good afternoon. Had to check what time it was. Kristin Hayward, I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister responsible for the Wildfire Service with Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures. So today's update, we have been getting some rain in some key areas. So Flin Flon and the Paw area has been getting some rain. Lynn Lake is expected to get rain this evening. And the eastern region, where we have our big fire near Nopaming, received some rain as well over the last few days. So what that's allowed us to do is to make some really good progress on those fires, deepening our control lines, being able to take down some value protection work that we had done, and just continue to shore up any areas or address hotspots that are areas of concern. It has also allowed us to lift the provincial travel and burn restrictions as of 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So all provincial travel and burn restrictions will be lifted at that time, with the exception of backcountry travel within the boundaries of an active fire, and that will require a travel permit from our department. Of course, I'll just flag that municipalities do have the ability to set their own restrictions, so they may continue restrictions within their boundaries. And if folks are wondering if they're able to have a fire or travel in the backcountry in their area, they should definitely check with their local municipality and be aware of where the fire boundaries are to ensure that they are doing that safely. So that is really good news. We're happy to do that. There are 18 fires burning in the province. We've had 131 fires to date, which is actually just under the 20-year average of 138. The total area burned is just over 911,000 hectares. In terms of the fires of primary concern, those are all the ones near communities that we've been reporting on. I'm happy to report that a lot of those are stable. We have not experienced significant growth on most of those fires. There's the odd area that's a bit of a concern around Lynn Lake in particular. The north end of the fire there has been fairly active, as well as the southwest corner of the community of Lynn Lake. We were a little concerned about a fire in that vicinity and activity there, but so far everything's holding fine. The other fires, Cross Lake, Split Lake to Tasquiac, those are both looking really good at this time, good control. We continue to do work to keep the highway open near Cross Lake. That's our priority at the moment. And in the east, Fire 61 in the Bird River Nopaming area, again, looking really good. Just a little bit of trouble spots around the Wallace Lake area that we've been addressing. In the west, Fire 17 and 28 near Flin Flon, we continue a lot of work there. We know the community recently went home, which is fabulous, and we're happy that they've been able to do that. I just want to remind folks that when they go home in these situations, they're going back to still a very active fire. The fires remain out of control. Even though we might have control directly adjacent to the community, there's a lot of area where fire can still burn. There can be smoke impacts. There's a lot of aircraft and other traffic in the area. So I remind folks to be vigilant in making way for crews that are doing work. If they're taking down or putting up value protection work, please give them space to do that. And then if you are enjoying the waterways and you're out in your boat, please make sure to watch for water bombers and helicopters working so that you're out of the way when they need to access the water body. And I think I'll leave my update there for today and pass it over to Christine.
Thank you, Kristin. I'm Christine Stevens. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister responsible for the Manitoba Emergency Management Organization. As of today, there are 13 states of local emergency in Manitoba, and 4 communities remain evacuated at this time. Those 4 being Tatasqueyac, Matthias-Coulombe, Wallace Lake, and some areas of Nopaming. So that means that approximately 6,500 Manitobans remain out of their homes at this time. Gradual repatriation from Ontario has been underway. Flights have been arriving into Manitoba over the course of the past week. Currently, Lila remains open as a reception center, but closed as a congregate shelter. Thompson Congregate Shelter remains closed. The Nelson House shelter has closed. Those folks have been moved to hotels, and there's approximately 70 people who remain in the Saugeen Congregate Shelter, and hotels are available for those folks too if they wish to move to a hotel type of environment. Kristin and I are here today to sort of cap off some of these briefings that we've had in our calendars. What we did want to say is on an ongoing basis, as the situation evolves, we will schedule these again moving forward. But in the meantime, we do remain available to answer media questions through other venues and other formats. Manitoba Ready is being updated continuously. And so, on that note, we'll open it up to questions.
You just mentioned the repatriation from Ontario. How many people have arrived?
I don't have specific numbers at this time, but the work is ongoing and focused on communities who can repatriate home. So all of the folks from Cross Lake who were in Ontario have now returned home to Pimachikamak and to Cross Lake.
Do you know when that process started?
Oh, it was over a week ago now. Yeah.
And those who are still to return home, where are they going home to? Which communities?
To Taskiwak and Pakatawagan or Matthias Colomb.
I guess what can we expect in the next few days in terms of any kind of weather conditions and how that may influence fires?
Yeah, for sure. So there's precipitation in the forecast, but it's in the form of thunderstorms. So we do see a number of systems possibly moving through the province, including a lot of activity today around the Flin Flon and the Paw area, and then moving northeast through the province. So hopefully there's some rainfall that comes with that. It is forecasted to have some rainfall. We will also see some gusty wind conditions as those systems move through locally. So again, a bit of turbulent, I would say, in terms of the weather. Temperatures aren't looking really, intense. Most of the province will be in kind of a low to moderate fire danger, I would expect.
For Lynn Lake, just with the situation there, have any additional resources been sent to that area?
I'm not sure on the numbers like recently that we've been able to send there. I know they've done a lot of turnover in the crews that were there, so I'm not sure if that's been a net increase or not. We're certainly adequately resourced though for the situation and have been able to respond to any hotspots or activity that we've seen.
Oh. Sorry, I just hoping you can elaborate, Kristin, just on the travel ban being lifted. So like in general, what was being banned? Are we largely talking about the hiking and the trails and more so than driving? Yeah,
so it would mostly be the off-road vehicle use and backcountry, hiking, camping, those kinds of activities. So now that the fire danger has reduced, there's less of a chance that those types of activities might result in the start of a new fire. And also, we've deemed that it's relatively safe for people to access many areas that previously might have been threatened by an active fire.
Where was that ban? Because I know it had gradually eased in certain places. I guess right now, where is that ban right now, roughly?
I do have that information. If I just give me one moment. So it'll be changing effective tomorrow. But as of right now, it covers, so technically it's areas 1 to 5 and areas 8 to 22, if you can go online and check those out. But it's most of northern Manitoba, the eastern side of the province. There had been previous restrictions in places like Spruce Woods, Turtle Mountain Provincial Park, some of those areas in kind of southern extent of Manitoba, and those were also completely lifted recently.
So basically hiking, backcountry, that's allowed again?
Yes.
What about in Ontario? I know that's been closed for a while and it's kind of, is that persisting?
Yes, it remains closed and will indefinitely until we get in there to, I think, assess it, and Parks has an opportunity to make sure that it's safe for people to go there and they know what kind of condition the trail is in.
So is that the only place left?
I'm not able to answer that at this time. I'd have to double check.
For the most part, though?
For the most part, generally, yes, we are lifting all of the restrictions for most of those areas of Manitoba that had been previously restricted.
You're also lifting the fire ban. I know there could be some municipalities that continue to hold those restrictions. We're also doing it on the verge of a long weekend. where people are going to be out, are you worried that there are more people out and that people could be starting fires?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I'm worried about that. I think what folks need to remember is just to be smart about, having fires in approved pits. And if you're using fireworks to celebrate Canada Day, make sure that your municipality doesn't have any current restrictions in about that, that you're not in a provincial park because they're never allowed in a provincial park, and that you're, being safe and, aware of your surroundings when you're taking part in those activities.
And apologies if this was noted, we're still at around 18 active fires, but how many are out of control?
I believe that would be 6 still considered out of control. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 6.
Do we have an update on hotels? How many are in hotels? Or how many hotels are being used? How many communities, etc.?
We can provide more specific numbers later. Yeah.
We had, probably like most of us in the room, we had a reporter in Flin Flon speaking to people as they came back. And again, this might be more of a question for the Red Cross, but some of them were saying that their benefit, basically, the $34 a day, it was either delayed or they weren't receiving the financial support because they had issues with ID. Maybe some had ID from Saskatchewan, but they lived in Manitoba or vice versa. Are you aware, did the province have any complaints at all about, or receive any complaints about the compensation process, or, talk to the Red Cross about any of those issues and try to sort of iron them out at all so that people could get access to that benefit quicker?
Yeah, so I know that our emergency social services area of government has been working very closely with the Red Cross and MKO and Indigenous Services Canada to make sure those payments can get it out, in time and into people's hands who need them. Individual cases, there could be complexities there that I'm not aware of, but, we're in the process of issuing second payments now to evacuees to bridge the gap in terms of the time that they've been out, and case management's happening in real time too.
Do you know why there has appeared to have been delayed for that, a delay for that second round?
I don't know that I would characterize it as a delay. It's just in terms of the timeline that people are out and when payments are issued, right?
Will there be any support for those people who had damage in their homes after being out for several weeks?
In terms of lost food and that sort of piece?
I guess damage to homes and properties.
Yeah, that's something we're still assessing right now, and we'll, take that away.
I guess at some point, will there be a review of this wildfire season to see what worked well, maybe areas that could be improved? And I guess, will it also look at how agencies came together, different levels of government, the Red Cross and the coordination, and maybe, again, what worked well and where things could be improved?
I think in every event, especially in the emergency management realm, in every event there's an opportunity to learn, and we are always in a process of continuous learning, and it's the same on the wildfire front. So absolutely we're going to be looking, at this event and learning from it so that, we can implement for the next time.
I saw some posts yesterday. There was one by the Lac du Bonnet, local emergency management department, I guess you could say, talking about aircraft. I don't know if they were referring to drones or different type of aircraft getting in the way again while water bombers or helicopters are doing their work. Are you aware of any issues or incidents at all in that area or any other areas?
I'm not aware of any in that area, no, and no additional incidents have been flagged for me since we had those original drone incursions earlier in the event. So, on that note, I would just remind people obviously about the dangers that a drone would provide to the fire suppression operations that are taking place, and just to please, be mindful and stay out of our way, please and thank you.
And is there an update regarding the number of resources from outside of Manitoba? Has the figure changed recently?
It has changed, yeah. So it's been changing every day. We've been having a lot of movement. We have so many different agencies. They all arrive and leave at different times. But as of yesterday, the most recent numbers I have, it was 263 out-of-province personnel. And that includes 13 from Newfoundland, 6 from Parks Canada, 97 personnel from the federal United States agencies, 47 personnel from U.S. state agencies, and 100 personnel from Quebec and France, mixed crews. About 60 from Quebec and 40 of those are from France.
About 100 have left over the past 4 days. From what agencies were they with?
The U.S., I'd have to get back to you on which other ones we've recently have. Definitely the U.S., though. Some of the initial ones we got from the U.S. have now gone home.
Any others coming in the days ahead, or are things sort of stable enough?
No, we continue to work and require a lot of manpower on these fires. As I've said, they're still out of control. So we want to make sure that we're definitely not letting up. We have just as many resources that are required for these fires, and at the same time needing to also be certain that we're ready for any potential lightning starts that happen. So we're always asking for new resources to come in behind the ones that have left, and it looks promising that we are going to be having resources come in to backfill these ones, hopefully this coming week. So once we have that confirmed of who's coming and when, we'll definitely be able to share that with folks.
There are 4 communities that are still out. Is there a possible timeline for their return?
That's something we're working very closely with community leadership on. Like I discussed last time we were here, there's a lot of elements that go into planning for returning home. So I don't have a timeline to share right now, but we're all hands on deck trying to get people home as soon as we can.
In the Pucketsawagan area, I know you might have to remind me, but yesterday's bulletin, I think it said the fire in that area is contained. Is that correct? What were the issues, I guess, that are preventing people from returning home? Is there anything to do with electricity supply or anything else?
Yeah, there are some impacts to the rail line that supports Pucketsawagan, and there are some hydro impacts to that area as well.
And for Tatasquayak area, is it mainly due to the water treatment plant?
It is, yeah.
Kristin, back to Flin Flon. There are residents in Flin Flon from Saskatchewan, and some worries about financial support and where they're getting. Is Manitoba assisting in getting money to those residents of Flin Flon?
What we're doing is we're working very closely with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency on that type of work. I don't have an update specifically for those residents right now, though.
A similar question, but what about financial support for Saskatchewan residents of, say, Creighton or Danair Beach who have been displaced and staying in Manitoba?
Yeah, I can't provide an update on that piece right now. We'll have to take that away.
The Wildfire Service has been at this for quite some time. It's been over a month. I guess, just what's been sort of the overall impact on everyone, physically, emotionally, and I guess, how's everybody holding up, having been working on these fires for quite some time?
Mm-hmm. I will say it's obviously been challenging, just the level of activity so early in the season and for such a prolonged period of time. It definitely takes its toll on folks. We're keeping everybody safe and making sure that people are getting the time off that they need when they need it. This is what everybody signed up for, and to be honest, if you talk to them, they love it. They love the excitement of it. I feel like there's been a lot of satisfaction as well in their work in terms of being able to see people go back to communities that they've been working so hard to protect. So, morale is high from what I've been able to observe. And yeah, people are definitely tired, but with the assistance from out-of-province resources, it is helping us to recycle and refresh our own resources as well.
And EMO as well, my apologies.
Thank you. Our staff, these are the moments that they shine and the moments where they really feel a call to purpose. And so, the pace has been grueling at times, but every single day they have risen to the occasion. And, they maintain momentum, and there's just such a sense of pride in terms of supporting Manitobans and helping to coordinate all of these agencies. And, you know, I have to say that Manitobans have come together more broadly. Obviously, the machinery of the provincial government is certainly kicked in and working hard together, but all aspects of society have really come together through this event, and there's so many amazing stories of people just stepping up throughout it. So yeah, our staff are doing well. They're inspired and motivated, and you know, we're ready for whatever comes next if something else does.
And Kristin, what work has been done? I know people are back in Flin Flon. What work has been done to mitigate the risk of a second evacuation as firefighters are still there fighting that place?
Well, the focus has really been, since the event started there, on protecting the city of Flin Flon proper, and so making sure that any areas where the fire could creep into the community, we looked at what type of fuel is available around the community, where are the highest risk areas where this could enter the community, focused our efforts there to make sure that they have, wide areas of whether it's fire guard that's been constructed or vegetation that's been removed to take fuel out of the path of the fire. So they're pretty confident in the work that's been done there immediately adjacent to the community of Flin Flon. Obviously, fire has a mind of its own lots of times and can do some strange things. But from what I've been told, that all of that initial good work has really helped to have us feel comfortable that it's safe for them to be there now.
And I guess it's continuing down that path then for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we'll continue to patrol those areas and make sure that those areas remain safe. We're always doing thermal scans of fires to make sure that there's any areas that, heat up with different weather conditions, and we quickly can address those so they don't grow into something and cause a problem. And always maintaining just awareness of, the weather and which areas might be threatened or challenged based on the conditions.
Do you know if a thermal scan was done in the Lynn Lake area this morning?
Yes, it was. Yes, and I can say that it did identify a number of hotspots still, both within the community and in the surrounding areas of the community, which isn't unexpected. But staff were able then to be able to prioritize that as part of their operational plan for today.
And maybe just what's your message to it's a long weekend ahead. Campers are going to be out, hikers are going to be out. Some people have been really waiting for this moment to explore the province. What do you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want Manitobans to be able to settle in and have a nice long weekend and enjoy, Manitoba's nature. But we're asking people to do that responsibly and just be mindful of the environment around them and, the events of the past number of weeks. We're just asking them to, behave responsibly while they're out there having a really nice time.
Any other questions?
I don't think so, but thank you for doing all these briefings over the last few weeks. We appreciate it. So
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much. Thanks. All right.